For Virginia in the form of Kayla White. She is opposite another solid goalkeeper in Jordan Phillips, who will handle those responsibilities on the Radford side of things. So a look at some of the key performers in this one, and on ball is who else but Wilson to get things started, and you're going to get a fairly quick look at Virginia's Kayla White there, who rolls it out to that back line. White, 5th year in the program, starter for a 2nd straight season. 13-4-3 with 9 shutouts for White a season ago in goal for the Virginia side. And mentioned that Jordan Phillips has been tremendous for Radford as well. Keep in mind, 5 of the last 6 outings for Phillips, shutouts. The only outlier in the last 6 contests was the opening round of the NCAA tournament, which she surrendered a goal to Duke. Right away, Virginia looking to have some impact, put her to the test. And as Cagle was working her way toward the ball, the ensuing contact providing Virginia an early opportunity. So the first look at it going to belong to the Cavaliers as Cagle goes to the deck inside the box. Maggie Cagle, number 71 player nationally, according to Top Drawer Soccer. 66 minutes under her belt already, and an early opportunity for a major moment as she will take the free kick, deposit it in the back of the goal, and Virginia, just underway already, has a 1-0 advantage over Radford. So the Cavaliers raking in an opportunity that comes by virtue of the pressure that the Cavaliers put together quickly. And here is the finish on the penalty kick by Maggie Cagle as she notches the goal and puts Virginia up 1-0. So before the opening sequence, that opening minute is behind these two teams. The Cavaliers having already secured the early lead. If you're wondering about the history between these two teams, and there is plenty of it. In fact, you think about that 2019 NCAA first round meeting, that was a 3-0 win for UVA. It is one of 12 meetings all time. Virginia leading the series 9-2-1. And the Hoos having outscored Radford 40-11 across the course of this inside the Commonwealth battle. And of course, Virginia coming into this one 5th ranked in the country, one of 4 teams in the top 5 in the land, and the earliest release of national polls that hail from the ACC. And Virginia representing the Atlantic Coast Conference very nicely and showing why they have that number 5 beside their name by wasting no time gathering up the 1-0 advantage. Cavaliers keeping the pressure applied. Back there to try to disrupt was Wilson. And again, you watch her as a defender, and can she limit this Virginia attack? That's one of the big questions of the day. She is the Big South preseason defensive player of the year. And as you have already seen, will have her hands full in this one in an effort to slow the Cavaliers. Not just a defender, though. Wilson already with one of the 4 goals that were scored in the opener for Radford as well. So she provides that dual threat as one of the captains on the field alongside of Alexis Kiernos. Jillian Silverstone on the ball for Radford. Radford's 11, Kirkgate, Stevens, Wilson we've talked about. Beaudry, Silverstone, Albers, Loundermon, Kiernos, who we've highlighted, Lily Short, and Caitlin O'Donnell, along with Jordan Phillips, who, as we told you, is most responsible for keeping Virginia off the scoreboard as often as possible. It's been a tough task early as the Cavaliers have already capitalized on a penalty kick. to the tune of a Maggie Cagle goal. Looked like something was transpiring there for UVA. And the Cavaliers had Una McCormick right at the face of the goal and in the thick of things, but it was not to be. It remains 1-0. Radford a year ago, 12-3-4. And again, seeking a 9th Big South title all time coming into this year. They went 6-2-1 in the conference a season ago. And we mentioned they played the Blue Devils in that opening round of the NCAA tournament, the latest trip for the group out of the New River Valley. Intercepted just as it was played forward that time by Kiernos. Virginia takes it back as quickly. Coming all the way out right wing. And having to use her speed to chase this down. Meredith McDermott, and she'll receive a nice round of applause from those who've made the trip out to Klockner Stadium on a comfortable night tonight. Temperature at 88 degrees as Virginia throws in with right at 5 minutes gone in the contest. 88 degrees. Shadows beginning to take over just a little bit as the sun gives way on a comfortable evening. Touches of fall perhaps as we work our way through the latter stages of summer and the early stages of the new soccer campaign. Another deep throw in for UVA. Right at the extent of the 18, it will rest at the foot of the Virginia attackers, only to be played out to Staudy. Nifty move to get some open real estate, but then right at the end line, a collision. We'll see it worked out and a goal kick coming as it belongs to Radford. Just mid-August, but a big day, of course, in the world of women's soccer. And congratulations in order as Spain, by the score you see right now, a 1-0 winner over England in the Women's World Cup final. Contested down under in Sydney, Australia, becoming the 5th different nation all time to secure a World Cup championship. It's the first time since the early 90s that a couple of first-time participants in England and Spain in the championship round went head-to-head, but Olga Carmona with game winners in each of the last couple of contests for that Spain squad, and they claim by that 1-0 final. Once that final corner kick opportunity was grabbed by Coy, the latest of the trophy presentations in World Cup. So big day, not only there, also more college soccer underway. Here's a scoring opportunity for Virginia, but you talk about keepers spoiling some things. Here's another look at just how that happened as Meredith McDermott was trying to double Virginia's lead here in the college ranks. One more look at McDermott as she was in a position it would appear to go 1v1 until the arrival of Jillian Silverstone. And of course, after it ricocheted off her body, the corner awarded Virginia, which Thea Red is poised to take. Near side flag. Works that into traffic right at the top of the 6. And appears as if Radford will win the ball. Nicely done by Eileen Albers. First real chance for Radford in the attacking third. Top of the 6, attempted header. It was a doubleheader. Virginia was able to use it to at least clear it out of the box. And now let's see what the Cavaliers have in mind in transition. Most of the possession through the first portion of this contest belonging to UVA. The goal, if you joined us a little late, coming on a penalty kick on which Maggie Cagle capitalized as she was knocked down entering the box as Virginia went on one of those initial attacks. That laid out, but the numbers in the favor of Radford, and in a 2-on-1, a solid takeaway for the Highlanders. Yapich covered up pretty nicely near side here too, seeking a little help from Jablanowski, but then will take it herself and ultimately play it backwards into the grasp of Theoret. If you didn't get the word as we quickly brushed over it, and you weren't a part of things when the Cavaliers opened the season back on the 17th against Nevada. 5-0 was the final. It was the braces of freshman Allie Ross and sophomore Meredith McDermott, whose name we've called a couple of times in this one already, alongside Brianna Jablanowski's score in the match, that served as the headliners. Ross's 5 points, most by a player since Alexis Spanstra had that many against NC State back in October a season ago. And another item of note when you talk about Ross's tremendous performance to open the year, became the first two to score a couple of goals off the bench since Maya Carter did that, when she too was in her freshman campaign last season against Oregon State back on the 8th day of September in the early part of that campaign. So just putting in perspective what it meant to have those type of immediate contributions and what would ultimately become a 5-0 victory. A little look from distance outside the box, that sails high. And it'll eventually be gathered up by Jordan Phillips. And here's one more look at that last shot from out top by McCormick. Virginia staying with it inside the box. This one will find the back of the net. Hoos have doubled the advantage at 2-0. Just a consistent attack from Virginia.
Cavaliers goal in the 12th minute.
And this one matching
Maggie Cagle.
It is Cagle who is making headlines in the first half against Radford. Cagle, of course, one of the sophomores out of Phoenix, Arizona, the second year coming the way of Virginia from Arcadia High School. And you have to say this, we talked about it in terms of McCormick sophomore campaign-wise, Ross freshman campaign-wise from the opener. The way some of these young attackers are performing for Virginia, according to script, in the first now game plus of the new season. And the shutout was taken off the table right away for one of the talented goalkeepers Virginia will see this year in Jordan Phillips in between the pipes for Radford. The question now and the challenge now, with possession being owned to the degree it has by Virginia in this first half, and the shot total right now sitting at 4-0 in favor of Virginia, is Will Phillips in many ways be able to do the good work back there she's certainly capable of in order to keep Radford in the thick of things in striking distance against the Virginia squad coming off a 5-goal performance the last time out? One thing you know for sure, as the throw in for Radford puts possession back with the Highlanders, this is a group that can also score early, score often. So Virginia in no way in position to rest at a 2-0 advantage, with the team having been through so many battles in their own right. On the other side, that cross toward the middle, top of the 6, just eluded Meredith McDermott, and in the end smothered up by Phillips. Cavaliers with the second of 3 in a row at home to open 2023. They'll take on Michigan at 8:15 4 days from now on the 24th. And out of the first 7 contests for Virginia, 6 of them will be played right here at Klockner. So a chance for the 5th-ranked Hoos to get their sea legs for the new season underneath them in front of the home faithful more often than not. Those coming out tonight loving what they've seen so far. And Kayla White able to be involved for a moment as she'll come up and snatch this away on a hop. Posted a stretch of 461 shutout minutes last season. 9th longest in program history by a keeper. And in that Nevada contest, picked up her 20th career victory. And speaking of shutouts, it marked her 12th. And again, 13-4-3, with 9 of those shutouts coming last year for the grad student and goalkeeper Kayla White. Eileen Albers gives chase, closing quickly and eventually taking it away is Stouty. Talia Stouty there in a timely manner. Radford still searching for its first shot here in the opening half. Virginia capitalizing on a first-minute goal on a penalty kick from Maggie Cagle and a 12th-minute goal also coming from the foot of Cagle. Content to play that back to White. Mitch of the 12 shutouts, her career overall record, the 20 wins we told you about that she notched in the Nevada contest, that's opposite 4 losses and 3 even contests along the way. So great overall numbers as well as the work done last year. Virginia again going to have a deep throw in. It's just punched away back there. Cavaliers will reset from nearly an identical location. There's Lacey McCormick. Lacey McCormick of Arlington, Virginia, Yorktown High School product. Wearing that jersey number 11, another of the 5th years. On cue, it's back in her grasp now. Tried to punch a pass through right at the top of the box. It was not to be, so it'll be throw in Virginia. Up to contest this, Lounderman. Official opting to let them play as both players go to the turf. That's right to Kiernos. Kiernos puts that in traffic. It gives Virginia a chance for continuation here. Run out for Radford now. Mentioned this is a team that can certainly put some scoring together. Kiernos a goal, Short a goal, Wilson a goal, and Launderman a goal. As the goals were evenly distributed in that 4-0 victory of the home variety to open the year. That was a situation where Radford outshot its newly welcomed opponent to the ranks of Division I soccer by a count of 31-3. And withstanding just those 3 shots, we mentioned to you that Jordan Phillips put together the latest of the shutouts for this Radford squad. Has been tested throughout thus far. And this will come near side. Emily Ross, one of the headliners for Virginia already on the young season, will find no window in which to do much with it. Comes back to her left foot here, though. She's working together with today's headliner, Cagle. Back and forth now exists between Cagle and Jablanowski, the other of the premier performers from the Nevada squad, or the Nevada contest, I should say, off this Virginia squad in the mix again as well. Shots coming from Meredith McDermott, Una McCormick, and the 2, of course, from Cagle, making up the 4 that are on the scoreboard for UVA. Cavaliers have played it on this side of the midpoint line for the majority of this first half. It'll be just a moment as you hear
Cavaliers
those who've done such good work for Virginia already greeted.
8, Ali Ross. And coming on, number 18, Sarah Bruner.
As Ross is among those who departs.
Also coming off, number 9, Meredith McDermott.
And she's not alone. McDermott coming off as well.
Maya Carter.
As both Bruner and Carter get their first action of the evening. The other thing you notice in this matchup, not only the experience level of these teams and the expectation level, you could see it in recoveries like the one Virginia just put together here. Though Una McCormick sees it stalled right at the top of the box. Is the consistency of these coaching staffs and the foundation they have provided, the reason you see these programs perennially among the best programs, not only in the state, but among those competing in tournament soccer nationally when the dust settles year after year. You're not talking about how many years the head coaches, Steve Swanson for Virginia and Ben Sarabi for Radford, have been at the helm of their programs. You're talking about decades with these two who have done such a fine job putting their fingerprints, their trademark on these two programs and keeping them at the top of their respective conferences year in and year out. Always something to see those two on opposing sides. Is the great deal of respect that exists between the staffs. It's lofted up right at the top of the 6, trying to head that in, and doing so. Virginia leads 3-0. This go round, it'll be punched in on a header, and more congratulations in order. We told you fresh legs just a little bit ago. Bruner coming into the contest. Well, it's the header as well that will be responsible for a Virginia goal in this first half. Sarah Bruner joining Cagle, who's responsible for the first couple of goals. And just that quickly, it is 3-0 UVA.
Substitution now for the Highlanders. Coming off, number 10, Elise Beaudry.
Bruner, the senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, the Mandarin High School product. Sharing a moment with her teammates after securing Virginia's 8th goal of the season. So the Cavaliers on a penalty kick in the opening minute, a goal from the same location, Maggie Cagle, in the 12th minute. And then now in the 24th minute, Sarah Bruner, who was fairly freshly into the game. Add it all up, Virginia to the tune of 5-0 to this point, outpacing Radford in this first half, 3-0. Throw in from Kayla Edwards, who is into the contest for the Highlanders. She'll be asked to do it one more time. This contested pretty quickly for Virginia by Maya Carter, who is over. Left in open real estate and alertly punching it off of the defender to maintain possession. The Cavaliers see that good work done by Collier before a whistle will mean a throw in for Radford. Actually going to be a free kick near the midpoint line. Wilson standing by to take it. Big South Defender of the Year, the preseason honors. She, as we told you, already responsible for scoring one of the goals. And even greater responsibility is she wears that mantle of captain as well. One of the great leaders on this squad, expected to keep this team in pursuit of that 9th conference title in that latest trip to the tournament. Another of those Virginia natives through and through. Riverside High in Leesburg, the location from which she worked her way to Radford. If you're looking at preseason honors, Lily Short, Amy Swain, also all conference team members in the preseason in the Big South. And of course, we have documented Kiernos and Wilson, the captains, talked a lot about what Phillips has meant to this team in goal. After earning the starting duties midway through the season last year and remaining solid in net for the Highlanders since. It's been challenged today, as what you're seeing right now has been the story of this first half. Virginia, for the most part, owning possession as they look to create another opportunity right now. Comes all the way out to Maggie Cagle, who has been a part of things in the last several moments. First year out of Loganville, Georgia. Possession award at Radford, and a throw-in coming for Kayla Edwards. Edwards, in addition to the starting unit thus far for Radford, Collier, Bruner, who scored the goal a little bit ago, and Carter, the first three that have seen time off the bench for UVA. And it's been the preseason All ACC selection. Maggie Cagle, with 2 of Virginia's 3 goals thus far, setting the pace in match 2 of the season here on the pitch at Klockner. Worked through beautifully to where McCormick had the potential to do something with it, but Virginia resets to Lacey McCormick, who comes right down the middle instead. There was Cagle. Cleared, if ever so briefly, on a header from Radford. Chasing it near the flag, even numbers, and somehow able to break through was Cagle. Left-footed look, just punched away as that was sent from distance by Theoret. Virginia will earn the corner, as all Jordan Phillips could do was swat that beyond the end line. Another look at this. The distance shot of the day, a left-footed look from Alexis Theoret. And it'll be who else but Cagle going to the far side. She is on ball, far side flag. Header high, and Virginia unable to do anything with this second corner opportunity of the day. Couple of corners and 7 shots. The peripheral numbers for Virginia team leading 3-0. I mentioned the ACC a little bit ago and how ACC heavy the top of the rankings are here at the start of the season. You look at the United Soccer Coaches poll.
Number 4, Kiki Mackey.
North Carolina at number 2. Notre Dame at number 3. Duke at number 4, and then Virginia at number 5. 4 of the top 5 squads, and when you add it all up, 5 of the top 10. So half of the top 10 programs in the country coming out of the ACC. Makes it all the more important as this works beyond the end line. For Virginia to experience the type of challenges they'll have in the early part of the season in order to be battle tested when they hit the conference slate. When you consider how it lines up for UVA, with North Carolina waiting on September 21st to get that home portion of the conference schedule underway for a trip to Louisville, which opens conference play in full. Third corner for UVA to be handled by Theoret, wearing jersey number 3. The teams trade headers. It serves to clear it out beyond the foot of Una McCormick. lofts this up, but it is answered by Radford. And now it pinballs around just a bit at the top of the 18 before Radford wins possession. Highlanders still seeking that first shot, trying to notch that up on the scoreboard as the visitors out of the Big South go to work. This will bounce up into the grasp of Kayla White. Has to start for Radford by finding possession and creating those chances like the one you just witnessed. The Highlanders do put their first shot on the score sheet, trailing Virginia in that category 8-1 now. Punched away, and that'll certainly serve to give that Radford side an opportunity to work back in position before it is thrown in. As Helen Simbas handled those duties. You heard that host of substitutions for Virginia a moment ago. You see a number of the new faces for UVA that are seeing time. We mentioned initially it was just Collier, Bruner, and Carter. Simbas, Miller, and Mackey now joining that group, all also seeing time in the first half off the Virginia bench. Hunter Rosenberg with just a few minutes of action behind her now on the Radford side of things. Joining Edwards as the first two off the Highlanders bench. Here's Virginia. A big, quick push for UVA that dissipated right at the top of the 6 as quickly as it materialized. And that's because Jordan Phillips anticipated it and snuffed it out. 10 and change remaining in the opening half. Talk schedule just a little bit, just in terms of Virginia having those 6 matches at home out of the first 7. Give you the specifics of that when we get a chance. There's something transpiring for the Highlanders now. Before an attempted cross, Virginia picks the pocket. Cavaliers just that quickly in transition. Chased down by Miller. And a physical battle as Wilson, who has been there, done that, as one of the great defenders in the Big South, is able to play a little keep away from Dagan Miller.
Highlanders substitution.
And now Wilson going to take this herself, but waits long enough to allow Short to come into the contest. And Nottingham joining Lily Short. So Lily Short and Kayla Nottingham
coming off number 21, Chloe Yapich,
on for the balance of the first half.
Number 2, Peyton Goldthwait.
Goldthwait coming on for Virginia. And Ella Carter also freshly into the contest for UVA. So those the changes for both teams at right around the 8:15 remaining in the first half mark. Here's Goldthwait. Goes to Simbas down in that corner. Tries to cross this in. The ball won initially by Radford. Jillian Silverstone in the end is there to put a right foot into it. Promised the specifics of that Virginia schedule. Obviously the 5-0 win over Nevada. Game 2, the contest you're watching against Radford. Michigan on the 24th. Then it's a short trip to George Mason before West Virginia, VCU, and Iowa come to Klockner in succession. That's when conference play begins on the 16th of September at Louisville, and then that North Carolina matchup followed immediately by a trip to Wake Forest. And then the Cavaliers welcome Duke. That really the critical stretch when you look at it right now. Late September and early October. And the other conference stretch that jumps off the schedule at you. Virginia Tech, Miami, Boston College, October 15th, 19th, and 22nd. 3 conference home games in succession before they close out on the road against Syracuse. So that's how the schedule lines up for UVA. This one has lined up nicely from the opening minute for UVA. A penalty kick connected on in the match's first minute by Maggie Cagle. She would score in the flow of action in the 12th minute and was joined by Sarah Bruner in the 24th minute. Virginia's 3 goals on what have now been tallied at 8 total shots. The difference in this first half. Now trying to find a little bit of open real estate to see if there was a way to continue forward, and then eventually opting the best course of action to get that back to Kayla White, who could reassess. Once she works it forward, Virginia's in business again. That finds nothing but red jerseys. Here's a right-footed look, trying to go top shelf, but it's just got a little too much air underneath it. And it remains 3-0 Virginia. A bid for a 4th Virginia goal coming with right at 5.5 minutes remaining in this opening period. And it was Bruner trying to join Maggie Cagle as a multi-goal scorer, try to pick up that brace of her own alongside Cagle here in the first half, but again, just a little too tall. How do you like that footwork from Theo Red as Virginia will reset? Rolling this out near Kiki Mackey, who works this back to the midline. Stouty and Theo Red both seeing time on ball in this sequence, and both of the players that have not yet experienced a breather in this first half. They've been up and down the pitch the entire time. Everybody else is, of course, besides Kayla White, all those in movement for Virginia have been given a bit of a breather as the bench, for the most part, has emptied down the stretch in this first 45. Valuable playing experience for so many of the new faces, so many of the key pieces for this Virginia squad that will need that depth in the ACC season. That's the uncertainty of the new campaign, is it not? You just never know at what position someone may have to step up in a timely moment. It's these moments that make that possible. Collier could not work around Wilson, and so many have found it difficult to do so along the way, even if the fans ready for perhaps one more pivotal moment in the closing stages in this first half for Virginia. will it come off of this corner. Cavaliers with 4 of these in the first half, and that's all 4 that have been earned in the match. Theoret into traffic. Left-footed look from Ella Carter, but there was too much of that traffic as it rattled off the bodies of the Highlanders defenders. Speaking of which, this caroms right off of Wilson, and another opportunity will exist for Virginia at right around the 2-minute mark.
Highlanders substitution coming off number 6, June Stevens. And coming on number 11,
working on is Plowman for the Highlanders. Just ahead of Rio Red's latest goal kick, or corner kick I should say, and foreshadowing of what was to come, as it will be just that other. Chasing it around behind the net is Jordan Phillips to handle that goal kick. It is the player known for her work in the assist department. Maggie Cagle, the returning assist leader for the Hoos. You remember she had 12 of those a season ago, including 7 of which came on game-winning goals. The most by a freshman at the Division I level a year ago. It has not been the assist work of Cagle in this one today. It was the early goal scoring that she pieced together that has given Virginia what is now a 3-0 advantage. And you factor in the goal added to her total of 2 by Sarah Bruner off the Virginia bench. Inside the final minute of the opening half, it has been all Virginia from a possession standpoint, certainly from a shots standpoint, with that split at 12-1, 5 on goal to just the single shot, which was on goal for the Highlanders. All 5 corners belonging to the Hoos in the first half. Do they have one more highlight moment in them to close out this first 45? Ella Carter, who was on ball.
10, 9,
turned
8,
away as the
7,
final 10
6,
seconds
5, 4,
tick on
3,
off the first half
2,
game
1.
clock. And Virginia content to carry that 3-0 lead into the intermission.
Virginia.
Well, fitting that Maggie Cagle will put things back in play. She is most responsible, at least from a scoring standpoint, for Virginia's 3-0 advantage. Steve Swanson's Virginia Cavaliers leading the Radford Highlanders under the direction of Ben Sharabi, the Big South champions and the perennial power out of the Big South, looking this year for what will be a 9th Big South title and a latest appearance in the NCAA tournament. Both these teams getting battle tested with those expectations for the tournament to be the end of the story as we work our way through the beginning stages of the story here in 2023. Game 2 of the season, match 2 for both squads, back underway. Final 45 of this one that sees Virginia carrying commanding advantage into the second half. Boy, that's cleared nicely by Radford, just as it looked like Virginia may add to that right out of the gate here in period number 2. Cavaliers outshot the Highlanders 12-1, including a 5-1 split of the on-goal variety in that first half. And we told you that it was fitting that Maggie Cagle was on top of the ball to begin this second half, and that's because she scored goals in the first minute, the 12th minute, joined by Sarah Bruner, who scored one off the bench in the 24th minute on the assist of Lacey McCormick. That's how Virginia built the 3-0 advantage. For those of you just finding us here in the second half, you saw our referee bring things to a halt momentarily. Mark Berta, our referee, joined by Robert Velbus, the AR, and Daniel Bava also handling those AR responsibilities with Larry Stroud, our alternate official for this one tonight. And what a pleasure it has been to have you with us on this 20th day of August. As summer hangs around a little bit longer, temperatures on the doorstep of 90 degrees today. It was 88 as we kick this one off tonight. And cooling off what would appear to be a comfortable evening in Central Virginia. You see a lot of fans atop the berm. Right now on the top left of your screen, you can hear the oohs and ahs of the Virginia faithful at Klockner Stadium. With every opportunity like the one Virginia has earned here. That one other statistical category that you always keep a close watch on, corner kicks. It's a 6-0 split for Virginia to this point. And we'll see what the Cavaliers can do now on the other end of the pitch from where they were so successful with those 3 goals in the opening half. Boy, that rattled around dangerously, but ended up working beyond the end line to no further harm on the Radford side of things. The lone Radford shot belonging to Lily Short, who is over 40 minutes under her belt after catching a breather for a portion of that first half. Interestingly enough for Virginia, you talk about what value there is in some of these early season contests just to get the actual in contests that matter moments on the sheet of your individual players. Virginia with 19 different members of that Who's roster seeing time in the first half. So that's of great value. The Cavaliers pleased to see that turn into a little bit of breathing room here, even if you have a high-scoring Highlanders team on the other side. Remember, this is a Radford squad coming off a 4-0 victory of their own in the New River Valley when they squared off with Emory and Henry a little earlier in this week as well. Talked Virginia's schedule a great deal. Also worth noting how things will shake out in the Big South for this Radford squad before everything is said and done. And we'll give you a sense of the challenge that will be in front of this group on all fronts here in this 2023 season. That'll be rolled out, and we'll see what kind of transition can be provided for Radford. Inside 39.5 minutes remaining, as this is going to be covered up by Jordan Phillips. She and her teammates going to take on Campbell on the 23rd. And that game being contested in Bowie's Creek. And then they'll return to the New River Valley, take on Mount St. Mary's at Cup Stadium on the 27th. That's the following Sunday. And to close out the month with Richmond in Richmond on Thursday the 31st, take on Hampton there in Radford on September 3rd. Play the Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville on the 7th. Appalachian State on the 10th at home. Get to the rest of that as a shot is fired high. That's just above the crossbars. Virginia gave it another distance look here. And it serves to run the total a little higher, as Cagle was trying to do that personally. She had designs on what would have been her third of the night, but again, just a little above the crossbar. So a look from Stouty a moment ago, then Cagle making one more bid at it, though it was not to be. And as we close in on 38 minutes remaining, it'll stay right where it's been at 3-0 Virginia. But after that home game against App State, they take on Wofford on the road in Spartanburg, South Carolina. They'll play Presbyterian, stepping back in conference action, in Radford. High Point in High Point. Charleston Southern in Charleston. UNC Asheville is a home contest. USC Upstate is on the road in Spartanburg, South Carolina. They play Winthrop at home at Cup Stadium. Then finish things up with Longwood in Farmville and welcoming Gardner-Webb on October 21st, the final Saturday of the Big South slate, to there at Cup Stadium in the New River Valley. So that's how things line up ahead of the Big South tournament, which again, you know the favorites when it comes tournament time in the Big South. You know the expectations when it comes tournament time in the NCAA. This is one of the teams certainly with the talent level expected to be right in the thick of it. That rolls off of Meredith McDermott. Una McCormick in the thick of things for a moment. A little push from Yapich with the left foot to get it out in that left wing area. And then Virginia opts to just reset. Right now playing a little keep away, maintaining possession on the Radford end. Nice job from Maggie Cagle to find some open real estate, but her cross is denied. And a throw in is coming for Virginia. But the pieces are there for this Radford squad, and the biggest of it, the news that Alexis Kiernos decided to return. You know, here's a player, talked a lot about Kiernos in the early stages of this game, had a chance to call it a collegiate career and move into the professional ranks, but said that is going to be something for later on. Decided to come back, finish her grad degree at Radford, and that meaning that this team, a team upon which she's already secured a couple of conference championship rings for in recent editions, is going to be primed to be right there in the thick of the Big South once more. 7 corners for Virginia. Alexis Theoret. Far side flag, now ready to move. Comes over to Una McCormick. McCormick creating her own window, but that'll be just this side of the near post. And is gathered up by Jordan Phillips. Here's the most recent scoring look for Virginia. It's the 15th shot for UVA on the day, and you can see the side of the net, all that is gathered up by McCormick. A big time contest, as Beaudry was there to disrupt Virginia's designs on getting right back in the scoring spot. Maggie Cagle. The 2 early goals for Virginia. So much more that she provides than just that scoring. We talked about her work in the assist department across the course of her career, and how timely those have been along the way of the game-winning nature. That's what her goals are at this point, with Virginia owning the lone scoring in this one. Theoret plays that short, plays that back. This sent long and toward the face of the goal. It caroms off and away from home. Phillips has to retreat quickly. But the leadership there for this Radford squad, to say the least, just kind of finishing up on the Radford schedule, as well as why hopes are so high once again with the Big South preseason Defensive Player of the Year Wilson as a 1-2 tandem with Kiernos. This will be a team to be reckoned with in Big South competition, as always. Talked about Lily Short, responsible for the only shot for Radford to this point in the game. She and Amy Swain, also Big South preseason all-conference members. You know, Swain had an exhibition contest against Concord a Sunday ago in which she scored 3 goals, had a couple of assists along the way. So you talk about a breakout performer. And Short was among those who scored a goal in the win for Radford that did count as part of the regular season schedule on Thursday night. So the pieces are there, and with Jordan Phillips, good work in goal. Yes, seeing the onslaught of the 5th-ranked team in the country regularly throughout this one, but responsible for 5 shutouts in her last 6 tries, the only 2 of the last 7 that have not been shutouts against ACC foes that are in the top 5 in the country in the NCAA tournament against Duke last year and then here today. So when it comes to Big South competition, this is a team that will be the cream of the crop. They've already shown their ability to score in the home opener, and though they're still looking for that first impact here today. Virginia was seeking a little more, but that corner goes by the wayside. The 8th corner for Virginia. Half the number of the shot total now, which sits at 16 for UVA. But the most important number of the night, the Who's 3 goals. And in pursuit of number 4, here is Maggie Cagle, who would be looking for her 3rd. A little assistance from Una McCormick. But with numbers even, a pretty impressive takeaway by Beaudry there. Trying to gather this up was Ryan. But was unable to grab complete control of it for Virginia as well. Talking, of course, about Lachlan Ryan, who is now in her senior year out of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Myers Park High School product. Getting her name called here among those having seen time for Virginia tonight. Nine off the bench for UVA. Or an even 20 in this contest. And that just missed Karaming off the far side post. From where the shot commenced. Think about this. Just an inch or 2 to the interior, and that would have found itself landing for Virginia's 4th goal. And you heard the crowd react as such. Theo Red, a 17th shot for Virginia. Goal kick coming for Radford. Boy, just how close was this? Had it been a true carom for UVA, all the way across. And on the portion of the pipe that sent it back out in the heart of the 18. 29 minutes remaining, as you can see the clock closing in. On that 29-minute mark, we have just dipped under. Stouty right there. Some of the great work for Virginia today. She has 3 of the Virginia shots, 1 of which on goal for UVA. And you talk about leadership, she's in that mix for Virginia. As the Cavaliers threaten once more. Still battling, though the numbers are not in her favor, is McCormick. And creating her own window to shoot, only to see Jordan Phillips waiting to gather it up. The 18th shot for Virginia going in the books, and that one coming from Guidry. But talking about leadership, and called the name of Talia Stouty a moment ago. Among the 3 captains selected, along with White, who is working the latest of her shutouts, thanks more than anything to the offensive prowess and pressure of Virginia right now, the attacking approach that Virginia has put together, and the ball possession nature of the day, inching her ever closer to that.
For the Highlanders,
it is White, Stouty, and Emma Dawson, the trio of captains selected for Virginia coming into 2023. So when you say leadership, you're talking about more than just the numbers, and we gave you some of those. She's expected to be among those leaders, both vocally and by example.
13, Helen Simbas.
Number of substitutions taking place as we speak as well, involving Collier, Simbas, and on the Radford side of things, June Stevens comes off and Hunter Rosenberg coming on. Collier for Guidry, or I should say Collier for Yapic, Simbas for Guidry. Those the substitutions made by Virginia in that last sequence. Slowing up just a bit was Cagle as Radford wins the ball. Stepping right up to take it back away, though. Virginia keeping the foot on the accelerator. That is Collier on the far side, who is working just in front of Theoret. Some room to work on the opposite side of the field as Kurt Gate has it in her grasp, if only for a moment. Eventually rattles to Kiki Mackey, who has the takeaway for Virginia. Nice rhythm to work that through from Helen Simbas. Goldthwait, Mackey, Ryan, Miller, Collier, Simbas, Ella Carter, and Maya Carter, along with Sarah Bruner, who has been the key performer off the bench today. All those players seeing time in addition to the starting unit for Virginia. Of course, I highlight Sarah Bruner simply because of her goal in the latter stages of that first half, which set the score where it has remained since that time at 3-0. She followed up the 2 goals from Maggie Cagle in the opening minute in the middle stages of the first half to set our score. Exactly where it has been since she found that pay dirt in the back of the net in the 24th minute of action. I guess you'd have to say really in many ways early to middle stages for all of Virginia's scoring. Has nothing further since that 24-minute mark. The shots numbers have continued to climb. 18-1 is Virginia's advantage there. The corner opportunities that the Cavaliers have given themselves to work on some of those strategies and philosophies for the new season. Now up to 8. But the goals total holding steady at 3. Radford would like to take a bite into that, and here they dispatch Kurt Gate to that end. And she will take a look at this, but the Virginia keeper tested, and Cameron Miller, who has come on in that role in this second half of action, was ready and waiting. There's one more look at the initial test of the half for the keeper Miller. A solid 45 for Kayla White. And a chance for some key minutes between the pipes for the Glen Allen, Virginia native, the junior keeper Miller. And if you can close the book on White, and you expect that you're able to at this point, the 5th year keeper, the starter at that position, he is pushing toward what would be 14. Well, you take a look at in full, let's say 21. Let's go ahead with the career numbers and just walk through that. She would find herself having notched that 21st career victory. And of course, Virginia looking for the combined shutout, something that she has done 12 times individually in her career, including the Nevada contest, which opened the new season. So White, who only had to notch the 1 save, and as a result of the Islanders during her time in goal only putting together the 1 shot, handled her responsibilities well again tonight. Well, able to create her own space for scoring is Una McCormick, and she will join the Virginia scoring. A 4th goal for the Hoos in the contest, and it comes in the 69th minute. It looked just like this. Take a look at the footwork to get it on the right foot and be able to then find the back of the net. And all smiles, this Virginia squad, as they run the advantage to 4-0. Anytime you have one of those first years in the mix, you're going to see those bright early career stage smiles of the Mill Valley, California native, responsible for providing Virginia's latest goal.
16, Ella Carter, and number 26, Maya Carter.
She ended up with 3 shots in the opener, did McCormick. And it is on her 3rd shot in this 2nd game of the year that she notches that initial goal. And again, career moments marked with tremendous celebrations, and everybody wearing that Virginia blue, all smiles. So the scoring, if you only witnessed that most recent one, a 1st-minute penalty kick from Cagle. Here's another look for Virginia, trying to make it 5 before we fully document the 4. And that one coming from 5. As Ryan gave it a glance, but it sailed high. This is how close that was to sneaking underneath the crossbar on a left-footed punch with force. Una McCormick is going to receive a nice hand as she works her way off after connecting on Virginia's 4th goal of the night.
And coming on, number 15, Brianna Jablinowski.
And she's replaced by a player who also has already scored a goal this year, Jablinowski, who was one of Virginia's contributors in the 5-0 win over Nevada in the opener. But I was just going to walk you back through, for those finding us in the middle stages of this 2nd half, the goal scoring in this one. Penalty kick, Maggie Cagle, 1st minute. Goal from out near the top portion of the box in the 12th minute, also from Cagle. Her brace followed up by Sarah Bruner's goal off the bench in the 24th minute, on which Lacey McCormick received the assist, only to see Una McCormick in the 69th minute add to it for Virginia on an assist from Maggie Cagle. Why not add an assist to a 2-goal day? And it is now 4-0 Hoos. And remember, not to just brush over the assist from Maggie Cagle. She had 12 of those a season ago. We talked about how 7 of them were on game-winning goals. The most by a freshman at the Division I level a year ago. Virginia keeping the pressure applied. Again, this shot is covered up by Jordan Phillips, and that'll keep Virginia from inching further away. So the 12 assists that were secured a season ago, the one here, already the total running to 13, and you begin to think about long-term career numbers already for a player who had such an impressive freshman campaign as a distributor for Virginia, as a catalyst for this Virginia offense. And I'll say it one more time, those who have followed closely this program certainly aware of it. The timely nature of those, as impressive as the overall number of them. And Cagle with an early one here in 2023. Here's a left-footed look. Speaking of early impact, Allie Ross filling up the middle of your screen now as this is brought back down by Jordan Phillips. But a Virginia team coming in ranked 5th in the country. A ranking earned as much because of the potential of so many of these highly regarded young players who, you have to give them credit, in the early stages of their career are living up to the billing. Radford held to just a single shot, mainly because of what you're seeing right now. Virginia has owned possession. And trying a through was Allie Ross, but it was turned aside by the Highlanders. Ross attempting to work through 3 Radford defenders. Will be locked into a battle for a chance to earn a corner, and it looks as if that's exactly what will take place. Virginia setting up for its 9th corner of the evening. Another opportunity coming for the Hoos. They're 11, having notched 21 shots and working on a 9th corner chance as we speak. Near side flag. Put in action by Ella Carter. And a throw in coming now. Waiting on Virginia to have someone come and take it. It'll be Ellen Simbas. Chase down near the corner. Among those there in the thick of things, Marley Crash seeing some action. Mentioned a little bit ago, Caitlin Nottingham coming into the contest. Since then, Crash and then Plowman also seeing very limited time among those off the bench for Radford. And you can see a change taking place for Radford in that key spot as Jordan Phillips is going to give way to the Leesburg, Virginia native. Radvanyi taking over in goal for Radford across this final 15 minutes of action now. Lexi Radvanyi out of Riverside High School in Leesburg. Talked about what a location that's been for some of the prime talent on both of these rosters. well known to Commonwealth soccer fans. As are these two programs. Every reason to expect that they could once more have their names called at the end of the year, but putting some valuable minutes together against one another at the start of the new campaign on this Sunday night. Well, still in there battling for it, and in the end it will be the follow-up that makes the difference. Hanging with it for the eventual breakthrough. The Virginia Cavaliers keep the pressure applied. Take another look at this. As Virginia notches its 5th goal of the contest, Cavaliers running that lead to 5-0.
Scored by number 26.
Maya Carter right there in the midst of things. Just long enough to stay with it and clean up a chance to punch that on by the new keeper. So Virginia with 5 goals coming from 4 different Cavaliers. Maggie Cagle the first 2, and then after Bruner came off the bench with a goal, Una McCormick followed with one of her own, and now Maya Carter, who in the 76th minute has given Virginia a little more breathing room. And this matches the total from the season opener against Nevada. So the Cavaliers to this point with 13:45 remaining in match number 2 of the season, having outscored its opponents on the year to the tune of 10-0 with a symmetrical 5-0 final in match 1 and 5-0 lead here in match 2. So at least for now, those 4 adding their names to the 3 for Virginia, who had their impact in that 5-goal performance back on the 17th. If you weren't with us in the early stages when we talked about a recap of the Nevada contest, Ross and Meredith McDermott braces, and Jablanowski joining them with a goal of her own in the contest. That's how the Virginia scoring came to be the first time around this year. Ross tonight, for all the moments in the beginning stages in which we called her name, not among those having notched a shot. When you think about where the shots have come from for Virginia, Cagle with 3 of them, as you might expect, a goal scorer. Una McCormick with 3 of them. Talia Staudy, the captain, one of the leaders on this squad, with 3 of them. They are the trio of players with 3 apiece among the 22 shots for Virginia in this match. Boy, that was laid out beautifully. It's pushed forward right toward the top of the box. Crossed in there by Bruner. And then eventually chased down beyond the end line by Radvani. Radvani, we mentioned where she made her way to Radford from. Didn't talk about the fact that you're looking at the future in many ways in her freshman campaign for the Highlanders. So the junior keeper who worked her way into the goalkeeping role at the midway point last season, giving way to one of the new faces on this roster. Boy, nice return And into, speaking of the new keeper, Radford, her grasp, and that's why it'll stay 5-0 Virginia. Cavaliers with some fancy footwork, some impressive movement in the box back and forth. Some of the passing ability on display there really catching your attention, even if it did not result in a further goal scoring chance for Virginia. Allie Ross was right there turning and heading toward the top of the box in an effort to win the ball, but it was not to be, and a throw in coming. This is Simbas to handle that. Inside of 10 minutes remaining, Cavaliers connecting on a penalty kick before the first minute was behind these two programs, and steadily adding to their lead since that time, having currently outshot the Highlanders 22-1. 9-1 is the split in terms of own goal looks for Virginia. That's just the fourth foul whistled against the Cavaliers, a total of only 6 in the contest. Speaks to the nature of play. And the other big number, 9-0, the differential in corner opportunities between Virginia and Radford. Free kick played long. It's going to eventually roll right back from whence it came as Silverstone resets by working back. Looking for something up top. It just has been hard to come by. Again, one shot, it was on goal. Highlanders not having earned a corner in this contest as yet. The combo of the keepers, Phillips and now Radford, with the one number that stands out, and that's the 3 combined saves. But it's a result of this, which has been a continual attack from UVA, living up to the expectations built into the coming year. And another quickly transpiring scoring chance, another Allie Ross infused opportunity for Virginia. That was the first shot. Mentioned just a moment ago she did not have one. First shot for Ross, as the save was secured by the Radford keeper. Virginia in the midfield. 6.5 minutes remaining as the Cavaliers try and put the finishing touches on what has been a second consecutive, not only what is shaping up to be a second consecutive victory, but impressive in nature in both facets. And you have to credit Virginia's aggressive approach and the ability the Cavaliers have to own possession for not only the multiple goals, but also the shutout when you consider the Highlanders being held to just the single shot at this point. If you're wondering where that stacks against the opener, Virginia allowed Nevada 2 shots. The final split in that opening contest. 25 shots for Virginia, 2 shots for the Wolfpack. On this occasion, it sits at 23-1, but again, still 5.5 minutes remaining in this 5-0 affair. Positive takeaways for both of these teams tonight relate to the number of different players who've been able to see action against solid competition. Again, a couple of NCAA tournament teams from a season ago, regular NCAA tournament teams going head to head, even if their locations not far removed from one another geographically. Five off the bench for Radford tonight, seeing valuable time. And the Cavaliers with a double-digit total in that category, having been able to come off the bench and see regular season in-game action for the 5th-ranked team in the country. Five on the scoreboard for number 5, Virginia, as we speak. Cavaliers looking for more. This crossed into some open real estate and loading up for a left-footed effort. Ross was right there, able to come in there and disrupt with the body. Back line for Radford, but it'll result in another corner kick. Take a look at this. Just able to get in there and get a piece of it that time was Lounderman, one of the scorers in the opener for Radford, who also does good work in the box. Handled by Ella Carter, that 10th Virginia corner. And that'll roll out for a throw in at the 3.5 minute mark. Attempting to create her own space on the far side. Carter left foots this across the near side wing. Push through. Ross, who was the premier young performer in the Virginia opener, just can't find any open space, but does collide with Silverstone, who's down. And the last thing you want to see this late in the contest is either of these teams, on a night when it's been marked by getting experience for so many players, have anyone go down. And you certainly hope there'll be no lingering effects of the training staff being called upon in these moments. Play stopped with 2:39 remaining. And particularly when you think of some of the major contributors for this Radford squad in their careers and expectation for the future. Again, you certainly hope that Jillian Silverstone will be able to make her way to her feet and continue after a contest marked only by 7 fouls combined between these two teams, cleanly played for the duration. That nothing in the closing minutes would be the hope would affect the standing of any of these players on either side. And a nice round of applause from those here at Klockner Stadium as Silverstone does make her way to her feet and will head back toward that Radford bench. So 2:39 left to go in this one, and a reminder that Once the balance of this one is complete, Radford turns its attention to Campbell on the 23rd. That's a Wednesday 7 o'clock start in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina.
Coming off, number 12, Jillian Silverstone.
The next home game at Cup Stadium in Mount St. Mary's on the Sunday that follows, the 27th, a week from today. And it's a team that will be searching for a 9th Big 12 title coming off, or I should say Big South title coming off a 12-3 contest a year ago. And the operative number 12 at the front of the record, 12-3-4, as part of a 6-2-1 conference slate that helped lead this team toward the latest NCAA tournament berth. So that's where the attention turns from here for a Radford squad that is on the verge of what will be a 1-1 start to the year. The one tonight, the lone shot. Can they double that total in the closing minutes? The Highlanders trying to do so with a late push. The visitors out of the New River Valley with designs on spoiling the shutout and maybe raising some of the totals, but Virginia turns that aside. Cavaliers turn their attention to the Michigan program coming in on the 24th before they will go on the road to George Mason 3 days later, a week from today, and then return to Klockner for 3 consecutive against West Virginia, VCU, and Iowa in the beginning stages of the month of September. That's what's ahead for these two, but what they have experienced on this night, a chance to get, as we said, some valuable minutes for some key contributors, and for Virginia, get a number of players in the stat sheet as we work through the final minute of this contest. It is a night that will be remembered for Maggie Cagle's impact early, the catalyst for so much of Virginia's offense a year ago in her freshman campaign. Became the scorer on this night, notching a brace of her own before assisting on Una McCormick's goal. We'll recap all 5 of Virginia's goal for you when the final half minute goes by, but this a night in which the 5th ranked team in the country posted 5, lived up to the billing, and handled the responsibilities as they were placed in front of this Who's squad against an always dangerous, highly regarded team out of the Big South.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Final seconds roll off the game clock, and Virginia celebrates a 2-0 start to the 2023 campaign. The final score, number 5 Virginia with 5, a 5-0 winner. Let's recap it for you.